right, so the other day we worked on adding flashbacks or flash forwards to our writing. I sat down with a couple of people who were starting to add some really cool ones. You all helped me add a flash forward to my writing piece, where I jumped to imagine my life where I wasn't in Vestal Voices anymore. So that was one way to enhance our personal narratives, as adding a flashback or a flash forward. Another way to enhance our personal narratives is to craft the ending. So we just watched the end of Charlotte's Web. Has anybody seen the movie or read the book before?
I read the book. I know
It's
how
pretty
it
good.
ends.
So here is the last paragraph. Here's the last paragraph to Charlotte's Web. Wilbur will never forget Charlotte. Although he loved her children and grandchildren dearly, none of the new spiders ever quite took her place in his heart. She was in a class by herself. It is not often that someone comes along who is a true friend and a good writer. Charlotte was both. So today I want to teach you that, like E.B. White, that's the author, you can see her name down here, that's the author of Charlotte's Web, you can create an ending that leaves your reader with something big. This left us with a big thought. She's a friend. She's a writer. It's not often you have that. So writers end their stories by showing what is most important or what they struggled with the most throughout the story. So what was most important to Wilbur was his friendship with Charlotte, and saying, that's hard to come by. That's a rare friendship, and it'll be hard to find again. So we have some questions that we can ask ourselves as we are trying to come up with an ending, and you're going to help me craft an ending to my story. So some questions to guide your thinking as you're thinking about writing an ending to your narrative or changing the ending to your narrative is circling back to, what is my story really, really about? We worked on identifying the heart of our story, so why not circle back to it? So ask yourself one more time, what am I really trying to write here? What's the heart? What was I reaching for in my story? Was there a message that I was trying to bring across or to bring out? What was it? Come back to it and nail it one more time. And you can also ask yourself, what is it that I want to say about my struggle or about my journey? Are there any last thoughts that I want to have out? So I've got my writing piece open somewhere up here. I did have it open, maybe not any. Oh, there it is. All right. So I'm going to zoom it in a little bit. So I don't really have an ending yet. This is just where I left off, but I have not worked on writing an actual ending. So my narrative here ends off with, I'll never forget the things I learned in Vestal Voices. I was part of something much bigger than myself. I was one person who helped create something beautiful. Together we listened, we worked, we cried, we became angry, we learned. So the message I'm really trying to send, I can ask some of these questions to myself. What is my story really, really about? It's about change, and it's about how I'm worried about that change. So I could write coming up with some sort of solution for that change or making a plan for myself. What was I reaching for in my story? I'm trying to tell you guys I'm scared. I was afraid in that moment that my life would never be the same. I'm out of this group. Music is never going to be part of my life again. I'm trying to share that feeling of scared. What is it I want to say about my struggle? I kind of just explained that too. I'm trying to tell you that I am afraid. I'm afraid that things will change and I won't be the musician I was anymore. I won't have that family anymore. So I'd like you to turn and talk. How could I end my story? Knowing what I just shared with you, some of my personal feelings, this was all true. How could I end my story? Turn and talk. Give me some ideas. You are my expert writers. You are the ones who help me out. What do I do? How can I end this? Gracie?
You can end it like...
I'm sorry. People are being a little bit disrespectful. I want your ideas to be heard. So let's just pause. Let's take a moment. No, not to let it out, but to kind of regroup. We're just waiting. We're just waiting. Gracie, go ahead and share your ending idea.
You could do it you could say, the singing group is like my family, but I'm not singing anymore.
Interesting. So she's leaving with a thought. These were my family. I'm not singing anymore. I'm not part of this group, but it's time to move on. So that's like a final thought there. Move on, Miss Bonin. June? I'll always have a part of them in me. More thoughts. That's awesome. I'm going to call on just one more person. If I don't call on you, please put your hands down. AJ? What I became after. I like that too. I called on 3 people. I did ask that after that last person, if I didn't call on you to put your hand down, I'm going to write. I'm going to kind of combine all 3 of those together. So, I'm going to put the 3 together. Although my time in Vestal Voices has come to an end, I know that my music life is not over for me. I may not be singing with this family anymore, but that doesn't mean I won't forget them. It is time for me to move on. It is time for me to make music my own, yet follow other passions. Becoming a teacher, right? Following my dream. Awesome. Okay. So I could put a flash forward in there. Class? I could add another flash forward in there of what I'm actually doing now. Because I will tell you, at this point, in real life, at that concert, never in a million years did I think that one day I'd be a 5th grade teacher. I had no idea. No idea. So I could add a flash forward to something that did happen. So I've got my ending here. Although my time in Vestal Voices has come to an end, I know that my music life is not over for me. I may not be singing with this family anymore. That doesn't mean I won't forget them. It's time for me to move on. It's time for me to make music my own. I do want to add, because these are all the thoughts that are happening in my head as I'm standing on the risers. So I want to bring it back to that problem. Because the problem is that I was in my last song and I was starting to become emotional and I was starting to panic. So as I stood on the risers for that last song, I thought to myself, I'm going to be okay. What do we think? End with that's because I put a space. So this is going to go off in 30 seconds. Today and every day, as you're writing, think to how you can end it. Don't just end it. Do not write the end. That's not what we do in 5th grade. We end it with a bang. We end it by coming back to the heart. We end it by if you're not talking, thank you very much. We end it by coming back to the heart. We end it by leaving with a thought. Don't just leave it with the end. So I want you to be thinking about your endings today. Let's see if we can do this on the first try. Can we do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't know. It's okay to laugh, but it's important to regroup. Show me the regroup. Class?
Yes.
1. Close. I think we're kind of on the edge. We might be able to make it. But we could tip back into some negative actions. I'm not sure. Let's see. Two.